just couldn't get a stop. You know, when we got a stop, they got offensive rebound. You know, that's I think the most disheartening thing. You know, we did a pretty good job, and we get a stop, and they get offensive rebound. Then we go down, we either turn it over, or we just, you know, we get a pretty good shot and we don't make it, and they come down, they get free throws or whatever. So it was just like we were just talking about. You know, we were right there. You know, again, played hard. You know, for 48 minutes, but the last couple of minutes of the game is where we seem to just lose it.
What did you think of Kobe? Obviously, very low shot volume, distributed a lot.
I thought he did well. You know, for not, you know, playing for a week and just letting his body rest. Obviously, he's going to be a little rusty. You know, but other than that, I thought he played pretty well.
As far as his approach, was that by design, or is that more just how they're playing him?
I think a little bit of both. You know, they did double, you know, teaming load up on him a lot, you know, so we were just trying to make sure that we had outlets for him as much as possible. And we were able to do that, and he, you know, hit some of our bigs in the paint. We just wasn't able to finish, you know, especially early in the game. So, you know, the margin for errors is so little, you know, for us that we have to take advantage of situations like that. And we were missing point-blank shots, you know, especially in the first half. Then they got on a little bit of a roll. So second half, basically, after that point, you know, it's kind of, you know, give and take.
How tricky is it to match up with them when they go with all three of their point guards like they did down the stretch? They wind up with Marcus Morris against
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, because all three of those guys are, you know, exceptional with the ball, you know, creating shots for themselves, and they can create, you know, shots for their teammates. So they put you in a bind defensively. They really do, because they're so good. And then they spread the floor extremely well. You know, so it's tough to match up with them when they have all three of those guys in.
Did you find yourself at all looking at the clock in the fourth quarter, thinking, okay, I can't put Kobe in yet, can't put him in yet, gotta wait a little bit longer?
Yeah, but I had pretty much in my mind, you know, I talked to him about, you know, the game plan as far as his minutes are concerned. So, you know, every time I looked up, you know, if it was nowhere near where I wanted to put him back in, I just, you know, kept playing, basically, you know. So, you know, I had a good idea, you know, what I was going to do minute-wise with him tonight, and played perfect minute-wise, you know, right between the 32, 33 that we talked about. So that wasn't the issue.
Do you think it's going to be more of an exercise in discipline for Kobe in terms of him just being able to accept what he's in, or you as his coach, you know, really enforcing that?
It's going to be more of a discipline for me, you know, because there are going to be times where I want to put him in early, you know, because I know how valuable he is to our team, you know, but, you know, I got to fight that temptation to do that.
Was that something you've been wrestling with throughout the course of the season leading up to where we are now, like, you know, acknowledging, you know, that temptation, fighting it, and seeing what was going on with him?
No, because at that particular point, you know, I had pretty much a certain minute, you know, amount of minutes in mind anyway, you know, so we're just trying to scale that down now. So, you know, I'm going to try to keep that in mind as much as possible. And like I said, I got to fight the temptation of putting him back in there. All right. Thanks, guys.